What I want to do in this video is bring to your attention a couple of changes that I've made with regards to the wing and the tail. First off, if your the wing tips look like this, if you have not cut it, then don't worry about doing so until you make this change. And what you're going to do is, if you take the older version and just draw a line from here to here, and don't worry about the black marks because they're going to be covered up. So you're just going to draw a straight line from this point to that point, and that's going to give you a wingtip that's going to look like this. You're going to do that on both sides. And then the other thing is, with regards to the tail, the change that I've made is the tail used to be marked out like this, and I even said in the build that I was going to do away with this dotted line because that was going to be the cut line. So whenever you cut this out, instead of cutting out and around, you're actually going to go from here straight up. And so that change has been made. So now you just cut the bottom or around the outside edge, and I take off the line. So I run my cut right next to the dark line, and of course you leave these lines and don't mess with those because that's the locations of the carbon. You have the ends and one mark for the center, and that's where the carbon will glue down. That's the other change that I've made. I've started gluing all the carbon in place, except for, of course, the leading edge carbon, and that's going to go into a pocket. Which brings me to the next thing, and I had talked about it in the video. If we look at the leading edge, which would be here, you can see that I had the dash marks, and they went all the way from one end to the other, and then of course on the other side. Well, I've changed that, and I'm only giving a dash at the tip, in the center, and up near the middle of the wing itself. And so what you need to do is where the dark line is, you're going to set your ruler right on the line, and I'm just going to use the 8-inch on my ruler as a mark for this side of the line, and then I'm going to go over 7/8 of an inch and put another mark, and then that way I have from this edge of the line to here is 7/8 of an inch. So I mark that at this point and back here at the tip. So again, if I set this down here, we'll just use the 9-inch mark and go over 7/8 of an inch. And so I have a mark at 7/8 of an inch from this side of this dark line. And then the same thing on the other side. So we go from this side of the dark line over 7/8 of an inch and out at the tip, again from this edge of the line out 7/8, and then you're going to draw a line on the 7/8 mark. And if we take a look, you can see that my line is right on my line there, so I'm from here over 7/8 of an inch, and I have that line. So again, from this side over 7/8 of an inch. And that is really all of the changes that I've made. I will be doing a build video pretty soon that's going to have all of the details, and I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes because the wing does build actually pretty fast, and the main thing is there's just a few steps that you have to follow in order to build the wing. And even the tail. I think I built the tail in like 30 minutes. So it doesn't take long to do it. You just have to wait for the glue to dry. So what I have been doing is starting with the tail and then getting the tail to the point where it's glued, and then going back and starting the wing. And by the time I got the wing all cut out, the leading edge on, and the carbon glued down in place, waiting for it to dry, I was able to grab the tail and finish off the tail. And then of course by the time I did that, I was ready to go back and finish off the wing. So in less than 3 hours I can build both a wing and a tail. So now I've built 3 wings and several tails, and I do not have any issues with them, and they are all flying really well. So that's going to be the way I'm going to recommend that you go about building. Now, one other thing is I'm using a piece of hardwood, and I've actually rounded the tip of it just by cutting it square. You can see I've rounded this end too, but what I did was cut it square, and because it's hard balsa, then I can actually take and put it on my table, and without any fabric or anything under it, I'm able to work it and put some pressure on it and bevel the tip or round the tips off. And that's basically how I wound up creating the tool. And of course I have another one here. It's a little bit softer, and you can tell that it's a little softer wood because of the amount of angle that I actually have on it. Well, plus I've built a few more wings with that one. So but anyway, just a little tool that we're going to use as a spatula, if you will, and they're made out of hard balsa.